Good afternoon, Villa fans. I thought I'd just quickly jump on. Villa have announced 2 more pre-season friendlies to the schedule. We're due to take on Marseille on Saturday, the 9th of August. And then the following day, we're playing against Villarreal on Sunday, the 10th. Both games are away, back to back. So obviously it looks like Unai is going to be taking 2 separate squads out to France and obviously out to Spain as well, to compete against these 2 big sides. And I thought I'd just sort of jump on and sort of talk a little bit about them. Not sure what's going on with the color coordination in my thumbnail. Looks like the German flag, actually, without realizing it. But there you go. So, yeah, just really wanted to sort of jump on and talk about a little bit about Marseille and Villarreal. Exciting fixtures. Obviously, you know, Marseille are runners-up in the French league last season. 19 points behind PSG, but PSG are an absolute monster, aren't they? But what was really good about Marseille in particular is that they were the 2nd highest goal scorers in France, obviously behind PSG, with 74 goals. So Roberto De Zerbi, the ex-Brighton manager, has got them playing some really good football, exciting, getting lots of goals. They had a plus 27 goal difference, and they got some familiar faces playing in their team. Obviously, De Zerbi knows the Premier League well, and you know he's brought in some players who have had Premier League experience. Emi and Maupay is one. Everyone remember Emi Martinez and Maupay getting involved in some what can we call it? Shithousery, shenanigans. I'm not sure, but there was obviously the game against was he playing for Brentford or Everton? I can't remember where he was then in that game, but Martinez did not appreciate Emi and Maupay and literally chucked him around like a little rag doll. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see what kind of reception Emi Martinez gets and if there's any more shenanigans from Emi and Maupay. Mason Greenwood, another player who's rejuvenated his career in France now, doing really well for Marseille, linked with bigger moves as well. He was their top goal scorer, 21 goals. They've got Jonathan Rowe, who's just competed in the under-21 championship for England, scored a goal in the it was a quarter-final, I think it was. But yeah, he did really well as well. So Jonathan Rowe, ex-Norwich player, good little up-and-coming player. Angel Gomez just signed for them on a free from Lille. Recently just broke into the England squad, was linked to a move to the Premier League. Obviously, I think he was released by Man United a few years ago and has now turned up at Marseille. Pierre-Emmanuel Højbjerg from Tottenham. He's there now as well and playing well and doing quite good for them, but I think that's probably his level. Jeffrey Kondogbia, who seems to be around for ages, is playing his last games and is seeing out his career at Marseille at the moment. And they've also picked up Adrien Rabiot on a free this season from Juventus. Surprised he went to Marseille because he was linked with some bigger teams, but he's ended up at Marseille. I think his wife is his agent, and she drives a hard bargain. And I think Marseille were the only ones that were going to stump up the cash that she was looking for and he was looking for. So yeah, he's ended up there. But as I said, Marseille ended up runners-up in the French league. So very good first season for Roberto De Zerbi. Greenwood, 21 goals. They've got a guy called Goury, who they've signed for 19 million from, I think it was Nimes or some of the French team anyway, but he got 10 goals. He looks quite dangerous. And then Adrien Rabiot, as I just mentioned, got 9 goals this season from a sort of CDM position, I think. But I think he takes quite a few of their penalties and free kicks, if I'm not mistaken. So those are the players there for Marseille. So it'll be interesting to see the Emi and Maupay reunion with Emi Martinez. Of course, if Emi Martinez is still with us at this point. And then obviously Mason Greenwood is probably their standout player. Then I'm moving across to Villarreal. I'm not sure if Unai and Monchi just fancy a last-minute sort of summer sun and just want to have a little bit of a holiday and a bit of a G up there. But it'll be interesting to see how they manage both games and who's going to be looking after the Marseille squad and who's going to be looking after Villarreal squad. Does it get kind of split? But yeah, Villarreal, familiar faces. How can we talk about Villarreal and not mention Juan Foyth? He's a name that keeps coming back around to Villa, constantly linked with us, even though he seems to be injured all the time. He's there. They've got Dan Juma, who's got Premier League experience. I think is it Everton he played for? Bournemouth, perhaps? I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But Nicolas Pepe, who Unai Emery signed for Arsenal all those years ago. He's now at Villarreal. still not doing very well, but there you go. They got this youngster called Thierry Barry, who's heavily linked with Everton. I did a video saying that Villa should be looking at him, but then I realised he's got a £34 million release clause I didn't realise about, and they're probably going to want every penny of that, so we can forget about him. But I think Everton are definitely in the running for him, so look out for that name. Iosi Perez, yes, he's still going. Newcastle, I think, and someone else, Norwich maybe. I can't remember who he played for now, but definitely Newcastle. He's there and kicking around at 35 years old. And then they've got a new young player that competed in the under-21 tournament, Moliero, who they've just picked up for 16 million, who's going to be their shining light and probably a replacement for the name Alex Boena. Again, a name linked with Villa constantly, especially in January and last season as well. He's now arrived at Atletico Madrid in a deal worth 42 million. So he was their playmaker. He was creating a lot of chances for them. He won't be doing that anymore. He'll be looking to do that at Atletico Madrid. So Viana has moved on. 42 million. A lot of money. But let's see if he's worth it. And then looking at their sort of stats, they ended up 5th last season in La Liga. And the most impressive stat for them is that they were the 3rd highest goal scorers in La Liga. So after your Barcelona, Real Madrid, it was Villarreal with 71 goals, outscoring Atletico Madrid, outscoring Atletico Bilbao, I think who finished above them in the league. But yeah, very, very impressive. 71 goals, 3rd highest goal scorers. And their goal scorers were Iosi Perez, got 19 goals last season. So yeah, he's found his scoring boots there, isn't he? And then Thierry Barry, who I just mentioned, scored 11 goals. This is all in La Liga, by the way. And then Alex Boena, who's just departed, got 7 goals. So yeah, just to give you a bit of a rundown on these two opponents here. So it will be interesting to see what kind of squad we've got at this point, because obviously this is like a month away. So I'm hoping we're going to be very busy bringing in incomings, and maybe there will be a few outgoings as well. But back-to-back friendlies doesn't happen very often. Sometimes you might see it, if we're playing like Walsall and we're playing against Solihull or something, you might see it then. But to have 2 massive games like this, he's going to need to divide the squad up quite considerably and see what goes on there. But I'll be interested to see, how we get on in these games and how the squads line up and what we're looking like at this point in the season, because this will probably be the last friendlies before the Premier League season starts, I'd imagine, because I think the season starts a week after. So it'd be interesting to see where we are with these, how competitive we are with these. And both of these clubs are, I think Marseille Champions League. Villarreal ended up 5th, so I think that gives them Champions League as well, if I'm not mistaken. So they're both going to be playing Champions League football. So it's going to be a good quality of opposition. They'll both be probably in their last friendly games before their season starts as well. So they want to be competitive. They want to get match sharp. So it won't be just a, sombrero and, a tequila and all that sort of stuff. It will be a proper game, I would imagine. I'm hoping to get out to one of them. I won't be able to get to both, but maybe the Marseille one, just done some early sort of searches and stuff. So, but tickets haven't been announced yet, so we don't know what's going on there and what the allocation is and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, guys, just wanted to jump on for almost 10 minutes and let you guys know about Villa's 2 more pre-season games, give you a little bit of a rundown of the oppositions. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments about these 2. Let me know your thoughts on Emi and Maupay and Martinez, facing up again. Hopefully, by these 2 fixtures, the Villa squad is looking a lot different, and we've got some incomings and we've seen some outgoings. But it'd be very interesting to see what we do sort of squad-wise for these 2. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Up the mighty Villa. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye for now.